So this is kind of the finish we're going for. You could see all the like swirl marks. That's what happens when you use a wool pad on a rotary. It leaves all these swirl marks. That's why. What we're gonna do next is I need to grab a wool pad. Or sorry, not a wool pad. I need to grab a microfiber pad, one of these right here, and slap it on a random orbital with some cutting compound. And you guys will see it takes all these swirl marks out just right away. So yeah, this took about an hour or so, hour and a half. It is a consuming process, but it's worth it in the end. So yeah, I'm gonna slap this pad on. Yeah, I'll set you guys up and let's get to getting all these swirl marks removed. So here's the finished product. I mean, I'm just absolutely blown away by how it turned out. Literally looks like, I mean, if you just follow the light, you could tell all the orange peel's gone. Literally looks like a piece of glass. Camera doesn't, I'm not sure why, but the camera doesn't seem to pick it up as well. Maybe it's the artificial lighting. I feel like in the sun, it'll pick it up a lot better. But start to finish, this, just the polishing took about 4 to 5 hours. I know that sounds like a long time, but my random orbital buffered the, it would actually start to heat up the pad. So the compound would like liquefy, rendering it useless. So I'd have to do kind of half the hood, wait like 10-15 minutes. So that ate up a lot of time, but the fact it is just a time-consuming process also. But man, I'm so stoked how it turned out. That's just unbelievable. To think it came, I don't even know if it'll pick up on the doors. Yeah, you could see on the doors. That's what it used to look like. From that to this, just absolutely. It's almost mesmerizing in a sense. But enough about that, that's done. Next thing I'm gonna do, I was contemplating this. I didn't know if I wanted to take the bumper off to do it or leave it on. But seeing as this lower grill, I had to buy a new one. So that's brand new, like nice shiny black compared to this one, which I mean, you could see it's all dirty and stuff. So I wanna refinish that and it would be easier just doing it off the car. So that's probably what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get this front bumper taken off and just put on some sawhorses kind of in this front area over here. And just get started on buffing the bumper. I'm not gonna go too crazy on the front bumper. I'm not gonna do everything. All I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna do this top panel all the way across, this, and then kind of this front face. I'm gonna stop right here so I won't be touching any of that. The bottom, or I mean, same thing as that on the other side. So it should be a relatively quick process, but the fact that it's so intricate might make it harder as well. So I guess we'll see, but yeah, let's get started on that. it's the next day. I'm gonna take a little break from buffing just to try to get these stripes installed on the trunk. So I tried before with the pre-cut. So we tried this previously. I tried using a pre-cut wrap, but whatever, that's why you guys haven't seen it, because I'm not even gonna post it honestly, but it was almost like a window tint, like a film. So it was super hard to work with. So I just kind of scrapped that whole idea and I just ordered some Avery wrap. It's not pre-cut, so I'll have to do all the measurements and go with the knifeless tape and do all that myself, but I would much rather do that than have it look like what it did before. So I'm gonna set you guys up, start marking stuff out, get the knifeless tape laid out. Right, so here's the finished product. I got both sides laid down. I mean, it is very orange peely, but that's kind of what you just get with wrap. But I wish I might have a video of what the other stuff looked like, but I mean, it was almost impossible to work with. This stuff, it's Avery wrap, very thick, so like you could stretch it very easily with some heat. And I mean, that just looks kind of weird just being on the trunk, but once I get it on the bumper and then I run it across the hood and front bumper, I think it'll tie it together nicely. So let's get the rear bumper knocked out. I'll probably cut out around the license plate just so I don't have to put inlays in there. But yeah, let's get the bumper knocked out. So got the rear bumper done. This is kind of what it looks like standing back. It was tough to get a gauge off of where the center of the line was. So I just decided to, instead of splitting it up right away, I just wrapped it with the whole 2-foot sheet. And then afterwards, I closed the trunk and just taped off the center lines, taped off the edge lines, and I mean, it came out pretty dang good. So the reason we're not working on the front bumper just yet is I got a dyno day for this thing coming up tomorrow. So I'm kind of just doing everything I can just to not take the bumper off, because that's going to be like a whole day process and I don't know if I'd get it done in time. So this wrap came in. I decided to do this. I got the wing all securely mounted. I messed with the exhaust a little bit. It was kind of sagging on that side, touching the bumper, and I went underneath and like all the exhaust clamps were leaking. So I just decided to go through real quick, tightened up all the clamps, tightened up the wheels, just kind of got the car all put together. But this is what we're looking like. I will give it's a little too warm right now and I don't really have a good spot to shade it in, but whenever it gets a little bit nicer outside, I am going to just give the car, or not when it gets nicer outside, when it gets a little cooler outside, I will give the car a bath. It's a little too hot right now, so all the water will just stick to the car. But I mean, you can see we got rubbing compound everywhere. So yeah, but it's kind of like an intermediate. So the rest of this video will probably be us or me and my buddy loading it up, taking it to the dyno, kind of a trip. So we're back here at the house. Last clip you guys seen, I was talking about how we were getting the Mustang ready for the dyno. Since then, a few days have passed, or I mean more like a few weeks have passed. We got it dynoed, wheels got changed to black. So I mean, this is kind of like the final look of the car, and I've been driving around a little bit too, and it's kind of mind-boggling to take in. Nevertheless, there still is quite a bit of work that needs to be done on the car. Starting off with when we were dynoing the car, I didn't know this, but I guess these 4.6s, they have secondary throttle bodies in the manifold, and when you boost them, they are known to kind of put a lot of strain on those secondary throttle bodies. So sometimes they'll just shut close. So that's what was happening to us. That's why you see the wire up there and there's some zip ties down there that you can't really see. We had to zip tie and wire it open just to be able to get it dynoed. I had the tuner just kind of flash it out of the system. So whenever, or what we're gonna be doing right now, kind of foreshadowing, I'm gonna be taking that off and kind of gutting it, taking all the throttle bodies out, got new gaskets, gonna replace all that. But so I had him like just flash it out of the system. So when we do that, I won't throw a check engine light. But so that's kind of our main problem right now. And then after that, we're gonna finish buffing on the car. And I also want to check all these pulleys, because this pulley or that, one of the two, mainly this one, seems like it's making a chattering noise. I know these Pro Chargers are loud, but seems a little bit odd. So I just want to check that out. Car looks just absolutely beautiful, especially on camera. I mean, thing looks perfect, honestly. But yeah, basic rundown. It'll probably be another few videos of this thing before it's 100%, but right now I'm gonna get to work on that, getting the intake manifold off. Next, I wanna move on to this, checking those pulleys, and then it'll probably be a whole opposite video in of itself of trying to get as much buffed as we can. Obviously, you wanna get fenders, doors, and quarters on both sides. And then kind of the last thing I wanna do is the wheel gap right there. I mean, if I get lower, it's not that big, but since I have the opportunity, I wanna drop it down a little bit more, maybe like 1/2 inch to 1 inch, nothing crazy. And then, I mean, you could see the outlines where the racing stripes were. After putting them on and getting a look of them on the car, I really wasn't a big fan of them, if I'm being honest. It kind of dates the car a lot, especially with them being black stripes. I feel like if they were painted on, it might have been a little better, but the fact that it was wrap, and the wrap didn't really look that good anyways, so I just removed that completely, and we're just gonna run this thing, just no stripes, nothing, just the color, which I'm totally cool with, since yeah, this thing in the sun just looks absolutely amazing. But so yeah, I'm gonna set you guys up and let's get started getting this intake manifold removed. So got the intake manifold off. I mean, pretty easy, honestly. Before I get too far, I'll just shove rags in all those holes. But I mean, it's nice to see there's really not much oil getting in there. So this is kind of what I'm talking about. You could see in here, there's these little throttle bodies. They don't cover it fully, but I mean, that's like 75% blocking it. And this motor is known to go bad on them. All this does is it actuates and opens those bad boys up and allows airflow. What I'm gonna do is probably drill all these little rivets and just pop the plate out and leave the actual rod in there, or I might just try to lop the rod off on each end. I don't know, I'll figure something out, but that's the plan. All 8 of these, 4 on this side, 4 on that side, I want to get rid of them. I'm gonna leave this motor in here just in case Last thing what I would want to do is put this back in and have it throw a code. Tuner said it wouldn't, but better to be safe than sorry. So I'll just kind of drill that out. It's just like a little rivet. I'll drill that out and just plug this motor back in. I know it's probably not going to do anything, but more or less peace of mind. But yeah, so I'll get you guys set up. We'll get some rags in here, and then we'll get to work on the intake manifold. Try to figure out what we're gonna do with this thing. It would be nice if this thing, which I think it does, yeah, right there, there's screws. This thing separates from the plastic, which would be nice. In that case, I'll just probably just drill out the rod and just completely get rid of it altogether. But so got all the valves pulled out. All I did, I just grabbed a 7/64 drill bit and then went from the back and drilled it out, because the front half of it is kind of like the main thing. It's the head. So I drilled out the other side. Fairly easy, honestly. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Obviously, I'm going to clean it all up, but everything is looking good, flat, straight, and more horsepower. So I just kind of got to put back on. The bolts are just like half threaded in there, but I mean, it probably won't make a huge difference, but just with that extra surface area not going up, I feel like I'll gain a little bit of power. But that's not the reason I'm doing this. Honestly, it's just to get rid of, not even get rid of, but like just stop utilizing this thing, just so they wouldn't just close on me. And the zip ties did look a little janky, so yeah, this is kind of what it is. Whichever way this thing wants to be is the way it'll be. But I got the passenger side taken off, I got the driver's, did the passenger side. I got the driver's side taken off. Got it put on the bench. I'm gonna get it knocked out real quick and then just start the time lapse again and start getting this thing put back together. Intake manifold installed, got everything put back together. I was just priming the fuel pumps there in the beginning just to get fuel pressure back up to the rails, and I mean, it seemed to start up just fine. No leaking on the injectors. I was gonna put it together last night, but I was going to tighten one of the bolts, and I mean, it just kind of split in half. So I had to run to the auto parts store and grab a new one and kind of cut it down to fit. But next thing I want to do, because I'm just trying to get everything mechanically sound before I hop back onto the body, because I know it's going to take a long time. So I checked the oil on this Pro Charger and it's very low, so I want to do an oil change on that. Plus, I don't know the last time it was changed, so I want to change that, and then that kind of wraps everything up for the engine bay. The last thing I have to do after that is my two back wheels. So this stud and then a stud on the other side. Whenever the guys that redid my wheels, whenever they were putting the lug nuts back on, they stripped them. So I bought 2 new studs already, so I just gotta replace those. Then when I was driving it up front, there's like a little clunk. So I think there's like either a sway bar end link that's loose or something, I don't know, but I want to lift the front of it up and check that. But after that, everything is basically, you know, ready to go, and then we'll just hop on the body. So it's coming together slowly but surely. You know what they say, last 10% takes 90% of the time, but it's coming slowly but surely. I'm glad we got those valves taken care of. That's more like peace of mind. But yeah, so let me set you guys up and we'll probably hop to the back wheels and start messing with them. So got the passenger side knocked out, put the wheel and tire back on. This is kind of what that's what the stud was looking like. So I thought maybe potentially I would be able to kind of just rethread it and reuse it, but after pulling the wheel off, that is far from reusable. But I mean, anyways, wasn't too big of a deal. Got this side done, went to go start on the driver's side, and before I even took the wheel off, I kind of unscrewed one of the lug nuts and tried to put it on there, and it seemed to thread on just fine. So I think it was just the one bad stud. So I ordered up some new lug nuts. Once those come in, we'll slap them all in. You could see there's missing one on that wheel, missing one on the other wheel, and then I'm missing one on this wheel. Not sure where they all went. The place that I took to get the rims done, it brought on the whole car. So yeah, honestly, I'm not sure. But anyways, lug nuts were like 20 bucks, so not that big of a deal. So we're done in the rear. There's really nothing else to do back there. Next thing I'm gonna move on to, I've had the oil draining this whole time while I've been working on the back. So I'm gonna get the oil changed, change the engine oil, and then drain the oil to the Pro Charger. There's a drain line run that runs through the bottom, so that'll be easy enough. Get that all swapped out, and then kind of check the front suspension, make sure everything's tight. And then after that, we'll be able to drop the car down. I think I'm gonna see if I could get some O2 sensors, because my tuner said that the O2 sensors were a little slow to warm up. So just kind of, I'll probably get those ordered up just so they're coming in. But yeah, let's get the oil changed and see what. That is gonna be a wrap for today's video. Got all the mechanical stuff done. Changed the oil, kinda got the wheels redone, got everything slowly starting to get put back together. So made some really good progress. Stay tuned for the next video where we continue getting this thing finished up.